Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cracking open a really foundational text. It's kind of the source code for a lot of modern manifestation thinking, actually. Florence Scovel Shinn's 1925 classic, The Game of Life and How to Play It. You know, when you look at your day-to-day, life often feels like this constant struggle, doesn't it? A battle against things. But Shinn says, no, life isn't a battle, it's a game.
A game with rules. Specific spiritual rules, she argues, drawn from universal laws.
Exactly. So our mission today is to pull out that playbook, the step-by-step guide to, well, winning the game, straight from this surprisingly timeless book.
And it's key to remember, she wrote this almost 100 years ago, 1925. It's pure, new thought, really potent stuff.
Right.
She laid down ideas about mental imaging, the subconscious mind, things that authors like Neville Goddard really ran with later. But Shinn was there first. You kind of have to get her to get them.
Okay, let's dive in then. If life is a game, what's rule number one? The absolute foundation.
Well, it really all comes down to giving and receiving, that core idea. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. It's like a direct feedback loop.
So whatever you send out, love, hate, criticism, it just comes right back at you.
That's the idea. It's a vibration that returns. And the main tool driving this loop, that's what she calls the scissors of the mind.
Intriguing phrase. What does she mean by that? The scissors of the mind.
She's talking about the imagination. It's always working, always cutting out pictures in your mind, whether you're doing it consciously or not.
And those pictures, they actually create your reality.
According to Shinn, yes. They eventually materialize in your outer world. She treats it almost like a science, very precise.
Some of the examples she gives about negative imaging are, frankly, a bit scary, like the man who obsessed about a disease.
Oh, yeah. He fixated on this very specific, very rare disease, read about it, worried constantly, kept picturing himself having it. And despite how rare it was, that constant mental image impressed his subconscious so deeply that the disease actually manifested. It led to his death. He literally created the thing he feared most.
Wow, talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then there's the woman who played at being a widow as a child.
Right. As a little girl, she'd dress up in black, pretend her husband had died, just make believe. But years later, she gets married, and very shortly after, her husband actually dies.
Oh my goodness.
And she realized with horror that her childhood game had basically planted a seed that eventually grew into reality.
Okay, so this points to how crucial our mental workings are. Shinn breaks the mind down into three parts, right?
Yes, 3 departments. First up is the conscious mind.
That's our everyday thinking mind, the one that sees all the problems, the limitations, lack, disaster, sickness.
Exactly. The human, mortal mind. Then there's the subconscious mind. She sometimes calls it the soul.
And that's different, how?
It's pure power, but without direction on its own. Like steam or electricity. It's not judging. It just executes.
Executes what?
Whatever images or strong feelings or even words get impressed upon it, down to the smallest detail. It doesn't filter for good or bad, true or false.
Okay, powerful but undirected. And the third one?
The superconscious mind. You could call it the God mind within you.
The God mind.
Yeah. This is where the perfect ideas are held. Shinn says everyone have a unique divine design, a perfect pattern for their life, a role only they can fill.
So the goal is to get the conscious mind to stop focusing on limitations and instead connect with that superconscious, to find your true path.
Precisely. Aligning with the kingdom of right ideas, as she puts it. That's how you find your destiny.
There's a great story illustrating this about not trying to force things with our limited conscious mind. The woman who wanted to marry a specific guy, AB.
Ah, yes. She asked Shinn to basically use the word to make AB marry her.
But Shinn refused.
Right. She explained, you can't use this power for personal will like that. Instead, Shinn affirmed only the divine selection, the perfect outcome, whatever that was.
Replacing the specific desire with the perfect idea from the superconscious.
Exactly. And what happened? The woman eventually just lost all interest in AB.
Yeah.
Then she met someone else who turned out to be her absolute ideal. He even said things she'd always wished AB would say. She got the divine equivalent, which was far better.
Okay, so mind management is key. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. The power of the spoken word. Jesus Christ's teaching. By your words ye are justified, and by your words ye are condemned.
Shinn really hammers this home. Words aren't just sounds. They have this immense vibratory force.
A force that shapes things.
Absolutely. It molds your affairs, your health, your whole reality, which is why she warns so strongly against Just idle negative talk, even joking negatively.
Because the subconscious mind, being that undirected power, doesn't get sarcasm. It has zero sense of humor.
Zero. It takes everything literally. Remember the woman who kept saying she was tired of her house chores and wished she lived in a trunk?
Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. Just a casual complaint, right? I'm sick and tired of things I wish I lived in a trunk. Years pass, circumstances shift, and she ends up, well, destitute and literally living out of a trunk.
No way. That's chilling, just from casual words.
It impressed that picture of restriction onto her subconscious. And it works with money, too. The wealthy woman who always joked about getting ready for the poorhouse.
Let me guess.
Yep. Within a few years, financial disaster struck, and she was almost there. She jokingly, but persistently, impressed lack onto her subconscious.
Okay, lesson learned. Be careful what you say, even in jest. So if words are that powerful, how do we use them for good? For prosperity?
Shinn teaches the law of prosperity. Basically, God or the universe is your unfailing supply. It's always there.
But it's latent. It needs activating.
Exactly. And it's released through your spoken word combined with faith. Real faith.
And this is where active faith comes in. You can't just say an affirmation and then sit around worrying.
Right. Faith without works is dead, she says. The work is preparing for what you've asked for, acting as if it's already yours, even if you see zero evidence.
That's the digging your ditches idea, right? Based on that Bible story where they had to prepare for rain when there wasn't a cloud in the sky.
Precisely. You act on the assumption of abundance. Like the woman looking for an apartment during that huge shortage in New York.
Oh, yeah. Tell that story.
Okay, so she needs an apartment, can't find one anywhere. Logic says, don't buy new blankets yet, you don't have a place. But she recognized that as fear.
So she defied the logic.
She did. She declared, I'll dig my ditches by buying the blankets. She acted from faith, not fear. And what happened? She miraculously secured an apartment, and boom, the blankets were ready.
That takes guts. And there's another, maybe even bolder example. The woman sued for $3,000.
Yes. She was terrified. Shinn told her to demonstrate perfect faith. How? By going out and ordering a really expensive lunch, acting totally relaxed, as if the money problem was already solved.
Acting rich to attract riches. Essentially, yes. Impressing the subconscious with abundance, dissolving the fear of lack. And the very next day, out of the blue, her cousin calls her up completely unaware of the lawsuit and gives her exactly $3,000.
Incredible. The universe just responded to that fearless demand.
That's the principle. Definite, fearless demand backed by action.
So this brings up a big question. How do we stop thinking small? How do we enlarge our expectation to receive these divine rights Shinn talks about?
The key, she says, is learning to trust your intuition. Or, as Shinn cleverly calls it, intuition being taught from within.
That inner voice.
That's your true guide. Once you ask for your divine design, you have to act boldly on those intuitive nudges, those leads that come.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What about obstacles, things that block us? Shinn talks about the law of non-resistance. Resist not evil. That sounds radical.
It is pretty radical. She claims that absolutely nothing on earth can resist someone who is completely non-resistant.
Why? What does resistance do? Resistance itself is hell, she says. It creates this state of internal torment, a mental knot that actually holds the problem to you. Fighting something gives it power.
So what's the alternative? Just let bad things happen.
No, it's about transmutation. You don't fight the negative appearance. You actively baptize the event with the name success.
Baptize it. How?
You declare, even if it looks like failure, I baptize this situation success in the name of the Christ within. By doing that, you're using the word to transform the energy, to align it with its perfect outcome.
Okay, transmuting negativity. And what about the inner obstacle, fear?
Fear. That's the only real enemy, according to Shinn. It's just inverted faith.
Inverted faith, meaning faith in bad stuff happening instead of good.
Exactly. Faith in evil instead of good. And just like faith attracts the good, fear attracts the very thing you're afraid of.
But she offers a way out, right? Something about willingness.
Yes, a fascinating key. If you become willing to do the thing you fear, you often find you don't actually have to do it.
The ladder story. The woman terrified of walking under ladders.
Right. She finally decided, okay, I'm going to face this fear. I trust the one power. She resolved to walk under the next ladder she saw.
And did she?
Well, she made the decision, turned back to look for the ladder she'd just passed, and it was gone. Vanished. Her willingness dissolved the fear and the situation.
So the practical technique for dissolving fear is called casting the burden.
Correct. It means taking that fearful thought, that negative condition, which is rooted in the subconscious.
And consciously doing what with it?
You consciously heave it, throw it onto the superconscious, the Christ within, the higher power. You hand it over.
And what does the superconscious do?
It takes the burden and instantly dissolves it, makes it light, reduces it to its native nothingness. Like the woman with the two pianos.
Oh yeah, the new one was coming, no space for the old one.
She was getting anxious, so she consciously declared, I cast this burden of the piano onto the Christ within, and I go free. She let it go completely.
And that
Minutes later, the phone rings. Someone calling totally unexpectedly, wanting to rent her old piano. Problem solved instantly once she cast the burden.
amazing. Okay, moving towards the higher laws now. Karma and love. Shinn connects karma directly to health, doesn't she? She says all sickness comes from sin.
Yes, but sin, in her context, means violating the law of love. Not necessarily moral failing, but energetic disharmony, like holding on to resentment or criticism.
The law of boomerang hitting the body.
Pretty much, she gives specific examples, like constant criticism can lead to rheumatism because those discordant thoughts create physical deposits.
And unforgiveness.
That's the big one, she says. The most prolific cause of disease. It literally hardens arteries, affects eyesight, creates tumors. Holding on to bitterness poisons you.
Which explains the story of the woman who cured her supposedly incurable skin disease.
Exactly. She realized it stemmed from this deep subconscious resentment towards a man who'd wronged her professionally.
So what did she do?
She didn't treat the skin. She went into the silence, as Shinn calls it, and just worked on forgiveness. For hours, she actively sent love and goodwill to this man, dissolving the hate within herself.
And the result?
On the third day, the skin disease was just gone, completely healed by clearing the inner resentment.
Now, this idea that all suffering, even physical illness, is self-created through our thoughts and lack of forgiveness, that's a challenging concept for many, isn't it? It puts immense responsibility on the individual. What about external factors or things that happen to people who seem innocent?
It is challenging. Shinn is very uncompromising. Her view is that your only real enemies are internal. Your errors in thinking, your fears, your resentments. It demands radical personal accountability. It basically eliminates victimhood as a concept.
So how does one deal with the consequences of past negativity then? Are we just stuck with our karma?
No, and this is crucial. There's a higher law.
Yeah.
The law of forgiveness or grace. This is what Christianity, in her view, is built on. The Christ within acts as your redeemer.
Redeemer from what?
From the strict law of cause and effect, from karma. Grace gives you the power to essentially rub out your mistakes, to cancel the negative consequences, to rise above the karmic debt.
Through forgiveness, both of others and oneself.
Yes, and this all leads to the ultimate principle, love. Selfless love or goodwill. Shinn says love takes every trick. It's the ultimate power.
Because love is God in action, the strongest magnet.
That's her assertion. And it connects to another law, the law of use. You can't hoard things. Not money, not possessions, not even love itself. Hoarding violates the flow.
Holding on too tight leads to loss.
Always. It blocks the channel. Think of the incredibly wealthy woman who owned 67 necklaces but never wore them, kept them locked away.
67. And what happened to her?
Her arms gradually became paralyzed. Shinn's interpretation, it was paralysis from holding on to things. Her inability to use to circulate her wealth and possessions manifested physically as restriction. Others eventually had to manage her affairs because she couldn't let go.
Wow. A stark warning about hoarding versus using. Okay, let's try and get this all together. The goal of mastering this game is to achieve what Shinn calls the square of life.
Right. The four sides are health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression.
Perfect self-expression, meaning finding your unique purpose. That place only you can fill.
Exactly. Finding and doing the work you were designed to do.
So what's the final step in the playbook? How do we actively pursue this?
First, you have to consciously demand your divine design. Ask for that perfect pattern to be revealed. Then, you must follow your intuition, those definite leads that come. No hesitation, no compromise.
Even when it gets tough, when doubt creeps in.
Especially then. Shinn talks about the darkness before the dawn, that moment right before manifestation when everything seems to go wrong and fear surges. That's just the old error pattern being pushed out. You have to stand firm.
It really demands a total mental overhaul, doesn't it? Shifting from seeing life as a battle to seeing it as a game governed by precise, albeit spiritual, laws.
It does. And Shinn takes it even further. She suggests humans will eventually reach a point where their word is made flesh, quite literally transforming even the physical body into this radiant body electric.
So here's a thought to leave you with. If Shinn believes the spoken word, aligned with faith, holds that much power enough to eventually transform physical matter, just imagine its potency over your everyday circumstances, your finances, your relationships, your work. What new affirmations, what new mental pictures will you start using today to create a more perfect record in your subconscious? We'll leave you with one of Shinn's most famous and effective affirmations. Try using this one to start digging your ditches right away. I have a wonderful work in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. Say it, feel it, act on it, and see what happens.